Because they have this final say. God forbid if you should ever die, but if you go, you might be able to leave something behind. But you've got to let your family know. But as I said earlier on, give it some thought. Talk about it, discuss it, think about it. Don't sign it if you don't deserve it, if you don't want to, but at least think about it. There's a lot of people out there depending on it. You know, depend on other people to do it. That doesn't always happen. We've got to do it. It's our job. The medical system can only do so much. They need, as my son says, he's referred to as a hero, but he says he doesn't feel a hero. The medical team, they were the heroes. He just supplied the parts, which is kind of amusing. But basically, that's my story. And my appeal to you is think about it. You're all in age now where driving licenses are starting to come out, and on the Ontario driver's license systems, you'll also receive a card, your donor card, your health card. Think about signing that, but don't just put it in the drawer and forget about it. Think about it, discuss it, decide what you want to do, but do something. Even if it's nothing, but think about it. And I'm alive because of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stark. Along with that, I also want to thank the Toronto Police Department for providing an excellent escort this morning, and also the Sheridan Hotel for helping us out with accommodations. Our next guest speaker is Mr. Darwin Keeley, and he is the CEO of Trillium Gift of Life Network. That's the provincial agency here in Ontario that coordinates activities for organ and tissue donations. And I met Darwin now, I think, about a couple of years now, a year and a half. Yeah. And I was very excited when we first met. We hit it off, and since then we've basically become partners. And he's got a few important words to share with you too. Could you please give a round of applause to our next guest speaker?
We at the Trillium Gift of Life Network are very pleased and proud to be partners with George Marcello and the Step by Step organization as we share a cause, and that's the cause of building awareness for organ and tissue donation. As the minister pointed out, there's a large number of people in Canada on the waiting list. As we sit here this afternoon, in Ontario alone, there are 1,758 people on that waiting list. Many not well enough to travel or to be at home. The unfortunate thing is, as we reach the month of December this year, 120 of those people will die while waiting for an organ. The total number of donations in Ontario last year were 143. So you can see the vast gap between the need and the gifts. As I look around and I look into your faces, I see health, I see energy, I see good fortune. But not everyone in this province today are sharing your gifts. So we're here today with Kristopher Knowles because we're inspired by his decision to do something about the challenge. We're here because we're motivated by his courage and by his strength. Kristopher has a dream. He has a wish. He wants to experience your good health. He wants to be able to do the things that you do and that you take for granted. As has been pointed out, the whole question or quest of organ donation awareness is to ensure that you talk to your families. You see, at the time of an accident, some people say, well, why is the supply of gifts so small? It's because there's only an organ donation available in about 1% of deaths in Ontario. It's really only when one experiences what we call brain death, usually a result of a traumatic accident, a car accident, and so forth. So only a very small number could potentially be donors. And it's a very traumatic time for families to deal with the loss of a loved one and a decision. But what we do know is we deal with families on a regular basis. If they know the wishes of their loved one, those wishes are honored, and the legacy they leave is a gift of life to 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people. So it's important to talk to your family and let them know what your wishes are. You know, we really want to thank the students, the teachers at Bishop Morocco Thomas Merton School for your commitment, for taking the time to support Kristopher, to hear his message. You know, it's really very simple. It's about the gift of life. We ask you to think about it. We ask you to tell your families. And someone, somewhere, one day in Ontario may benefit by your courage and your compassion. Thank you.
Thank you, Darwin. Our next guest I met recently, yesterday, and they helped put together an event for Chris, and he was a judge at a chili eating contest. Did you eat that chili, by the way, Chris? Oh, okay, he ate all of it, he said. As we're moving along, we are trying to build as many partnerships and bridge ourselves with many groups and organizations. And after I met Paul yesterday, it seemed very promising that our two groups can come together too. And isn't that amazing when you can come together on a common cause and work together and produce good results? And that's what we're hoping to find. Can you please give a warm welcome to CEO Paul Hindle from Sarnia.
My aunt died 6 years ago of brain aneurysm. I learned at the funeral that her heart and her kidneys went and saved 2 lives. So I was really inspired. I realized at that point that anybody can be a hero. I mean, imagine saving somebody's life. I signed my donor card at that point, and I told my family that that's what I wanted to do. You may wonder why a company like Sundex is involved in something like this. Well, you know why that touched me. Sundex is involved because every year we said, you know, we're not big like IBM, we can't do events, and every year we said the same thing. Finally, I realized we don't have to do something big, we have to do something. I had done my part, but raising awareness and getting everybody else to participate is a little bit more. In 30 years, the gap between donors and people waiting for organs will certainly be probably gone. I mean, as more people become aware of this, it's going to be people dying because of liver failure, people dying because of heart failure is maybe going to be a thing of the past. Imagine that. But right now, there are people waiting. I know you've heard it before. But that's what my point is. So I urge you guys to talk to your family and sign your organ donor card. Just so you know a little bit about what happened yesterday, it was a chili contest, which you probably imagine I got the idea from The Simpsons, so it was a real hit. The purpose of the chili cook-off was to get 1,700 people in Toronto to sign their organ donation card and talk to their loved ones. We handed out, I urged everybody there not to take a card unless they were going to